Back 2 years ago, I was working under Andrew Tate as a salesman. I then became a sales manager. But I'll say this, working under the Tates was one of the greatest learning experiences of my life. And as you can see, as he became the most viral man on earth, their marketing was tremendous, but they needed a sales team. And guess who was behind that? Now, if you guys don't know who I am, my name is JP. I sold about $30 million in products under that specific company. And as well as I lived with the Tates in Dubai and Romania. We went through all of the periods of being canceled in Dubai and being canceled in Romania. If you guys remember when Vice canceled Tate for the first time, I was literally at his house when that happened, which is insane. Same thing when he was being canceled in Dubai for the second time, like phase 2, phase 3, I was the salesman when we were being canceled. It was such an experiential learning opportunity for myself, especially as a young man. I was able to learn so much stuff. If you understand that I was under one of the biggest fucking marketing campaigns on earth, and was the highest converting salesman, you'll understand that there's a lot to learn in this video. So let's get straight into it.
So here's the thing. Working with the Tates was actually a life-changing experience for me. I was able to learn a lot of stuff about myself. I was able to learn tons and tons of information about marketing, sales, human psychology, how things actually work in this world. And so by going through those times of learning from guys like Luke, from guys like Tate, from guys like Tristan, I was able to really rectify the principles of digital marketing and the principles of how to gain attention, how to convert that attention into money. And so one of the things that I have learned from the Tates and from doing that whole entire experience was that most people in this life are actually quite lazy. If you work hard enough on one simple thing on a long enough period of time, you will be able to get humongous results. As long as you are relentless at the thing that you're working at, the likeliness of you getting insane results is very high. And so under the premise of having the right kind of timing in the market, having the right kind of distribution in the market, having the right kind of sales teams in the market, and having the right kind of marketing teams, I was able to realize how important the aspect of relentlessness is whilst you're building a huge company. Andrew Tate, Luke, Tristan, they're all hyper hustlers. They always work nonstop. And this is something that I really look up to them. When I moved in to their place for about a week, I was staying over with them in Dubai. Crazy thing is that when I was staying over at their place, every single morning, I would see Tate at the very bottom of the pool, right beside at the chairs. He would have his own spot and he was working. He was always hitting the laptop. He was always getting work done all the time. And we would go through this session where it's like, we would hit the laptops for an hour, then we would do some push-ups. We would then hit the laptops for another hour, then we would do some more push-ups. He is actually the definition of someone that is congruent with the belief systems that he actually says online. There are so many people out there online that say things but are not congruent with what they say. And Tate and all the guys in that team have taught me that if you do the things that you believe in for a long enough period of time and you're relentless at the work that you are working on, then the likeliness of you being successful is almost certain. It is almost certain if you work hard enough at what you're doing, you'll either realize that the business model you're working on makes no sense or that it is an absolute success. And so this is a huge thing. When you are building a business, you never want to look on the defensive. You never want to look on your back. Hey, this guy's trying to compete with me. Hey, this business model might not work. You never want to have those doubts. You want to always attack. While you're building your businesses, you're attacking that business. You're building those systems just like you're in a war, just like you're in a battle. You're like Alexander the Great, taking charge of a battle that is to build your business. And so when I was around them, I was learning so much left and right. The aspect of being extremely healthy. Here's something funny that actually got me going, because essentially I was a salesman, right? I was a salesman for about a 9-month period. Then I became a sales manager, and then I moved more into marketing. And so what happened as a salesman is that the funny thing is that they would emphasize more on my health versus the actual skill of sales. The crazy thing is that my sales manager was focusing more on making sure that I as a person am healthy during those waking hours that I'm living, versus just making sure that I'm hustling. Right now, of course, we were hustling all the time, but something that is extremely emphasized in that team was absolute health, was top quality health. And it's something that I learned, that if you really want to be the most effective human possible, you also need to be the most healthiest human possible. Because when you are a healthy human, your natural senses are increased, right? You are sharper. Your cognitive abilities are much stronger. You're able to react quicker. You're able to make quicker decisions. And that's something that I really learned from the Tates and that whole experience when I was in that experience. And so this was back in 2021. In 2021, I got into that gig, and that turned into one of the times that I actually hit my first 10K. Then I went from 10K to then 20K, from 20K to 55K. And so throughout that process, it was really challenging. It was really, really challenging because I had to sacrifice a lot. I had to put a lot to the side. I had to say no to going out. I had to say no to enjoying degeneracy. I had to say no to my old habits. I had to leave all of those old habits that I had in the past. And I had to also eliminate all of those old friends. Because when I said I was a salesman under Andrew Tate, most people are like, hey, what's wrong with you? You're selling for some online influencer guy. What's like I'm in university. Where's your life path going? They thought I was a lost cause. Same with my family. Crazy thing is that when I went from when I actually got hired into this job, I actually decided to leave a full-time management job that was something that my parents were really proud of, to then get into an only commissions job with Andrew Tate. Now, right now, you'd probably say, oh, you get offered a sales job with Andrew Tate. Of course I'm going to take it. But 3 years ago, when Tate was not famous at all, it would seem like a huge risk. And most people will probably say, hey, no, you should probably hold that management job. You should probably keep that management job and focus on what's working right now. Now, by the way, I was being paid $100K per year with that management job. I took that e-commerce business from 5 to 10 million. But I decided, hey, like, I'm not learning anything from this job. How about I go and find that new opportunity? And that new opportunity was working along with the Tates, was working along with them. All right, so what are the things that I genuinely learned from being around the Tates? Here are some things that I actually learned. And let's break this down. I learned that relentlessness is key when you are building a business. You need to be absolutely relentless with what you are building, because if you don't put your all into it, the universe will not gift you with the multi-millions that you deserve to have. If you don't put your all and you start to decide to slow down in some days, you won't get those huge results that you expect in your life. Another thing that I realized is systemization is very important, right? Having systems of content distribution. Now, of course, a business is built on a great product, but what will get that product to be distributed is good distribution. And what does that mean? That means having good distribution with reels, having good content creators, having good copywriters, having a lot of content to work with, having a lot of ongoing new topics to speak about, new content all the time, and having systems of people that will distribute that content in the outside world. The third thing that I realized was that online products are some of the best products you can sell, because not only you don't need to be at that place and you don't need to do a one-on-one thing with someone, you can make unlimited money You can genuinely make unlimited money with online products. If you have the right distribution, if you have the right content, if you have the right kind of product market fit, then the likeliness of you making a lot of money is very high. Now let's just give this some context right now. The real world, their product right now is making $250 million a year. That's not something small to laugh around with. That is a lot of money. And so with that premise, you can realize that, wait, if you have good distribution, if you're relentless at your business, if you're selling an online business, if you're not actually making money, it's probably because you're not putting your all into it. It's probably because you don't have the right distribution, and it's probably because you're not putting enough content. And here's another thing. I realized by working around them that polarity is extremely important. And especially on top of polarity, knowing how to speak. Knowing actually how to speak really well and focusing on getting really good clips of you, right? Really, really good clips of you saying your point, right? You being able to be confident enough to put your point across. Having some kind of element of polarity in your content is very important so that you can be able to get people to react in the comments. Getting people emotional is very important, right? People do not buy based on logic. Everyone buys on the premise of them being emotional, right? So in order to make people buy things, you need to get them emotional. You need to get them to emotionally move so that they can then say, hey, wait, shit, my life is actually trash. I need to change it. And so on that premise, by making them emotional, the likeliness of them being able to buy your product is much higher. So those are a few things that I actually learned while being around the Tates. And I'll be honest, it was an insane experience. Genuinely, I feel like I'm in the body of a 30-year-old man. Like, I've gone through a lot of things in my life. I've been able to go through the highest of highs, making $55K a month, being able to go wherever I want, going in private jets, driving the craziest cars ever, from being raised in a low environment. I never actually expected myself to go so far at such a quick pace. And it's because of this opportunity, it's because of them. And I genuinely can say that I couldn't have learned as much as I do know now without them. And so I'll say this right now, I genuinely really respect them. Even though some people might have opinions about the Tates that they might not agree with, you have to know that these are people you can respect. They are people that actually work really, really hard, and they are especially congruent with what they say. So many influencers out there, they like to talk shit, but when it comes to them doing the shit that they always talk about, the congruency is not always there. And that's always something that I've seen with the Tates. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna be releasing daily email newsletters. You can find that in the description. Subscribe down below. Now, I'm gonna go and enjoy myself in the beautiful mountains of Portugal. I'm gonna go grab a swim in the Atlantic Ocean, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.